So I'll be presenting for Aras. We have a product called Aras Innovator, which is a web-based PLM software. The product area we're going to be talking about here is dynamic product navigation, which we utilize Hoops Communicator for. It's an implementation of a 3D shattered view. My contact information is here. This will be a very quick presentation. So I'm just going to share. All right, so jumping right into the demo. So our software manages product data throughout the lifecycle to maintain a digital thread as a single source of truth for engineers and technical folks to collaborate on. We serve all kinds of industries, some that may utilize 3D data in their PLM. Track 3D data would be like automotive, shipbuilders, aerospace. So not all of our customers would maintain 3D data in PLM, but many do. So a typical workflow for them would be to have one or more CAD softwares of their preference and a third-party CAD connector. There's several that integrate with Aras, and they would generate their 3D data in their chosen CAD software and then check that into Aras Innovator. And when that data is checked in, it triggers a conversion process. And at a minimum, in order to view these files, an Innovator will generate SCS and XML files for all assemblies and components. And then optionally, they may also create PNG files for thumbnails as shown here, PDFs, and any other file type that Hoops Communicator supports as an export format. So what we're looking at right here is our item type CAD document. Out of the box, this is where we would store CAD native files. Although our product's very configurable, so this is just one example of how someone might manage data. So here we're looking at an assembly CAD document for a robot arm. So I want to start first. The first viewer that we implemented in our product was a Monolithic Viewer. So this is our non-shattered view. And I think it just highlights the difference in the benefits of the shattered view. So here we have a nice lightweight view of an assembly SCS file. This is great. It's useful. We have some UI features we've implemented from Hoops Communicator. In the left-hand panel, we have all these subcomponents in our model browser, and these are synchronized to the view. We grab the file name from the XML file and map that where we store these native files in our CAD document items. We have height show. It's great, but it's limited because this single snapshot in time is all that we can do with this monolithic view. So jumping into our dynamic viewer, this is part of the dynamic product navigation area. Here we have implemented a shattered view. So right now you see basically the same view we saw in the monolithic file because we're looking at a structure resolution for latest release. So everything here is released. Everything here happens to be on revision A. So what I want to highlight here, the biggest difference in this workflow is, so in both views, we have SCS files and XML files generated for each component and assembly. But for the dynamic viewer, we do one additional step. We generate CAD instances for all the child components. So in this triggered view, I think it's, I'll just say this triggered view in the panel is something we get to define, and I think it's an easy way to visualize what's happening here. So here we have a relationship called CAD instance, which is generated when we have an assembly we want to view dynamically. And on this relationship, we take a property from the assembly XML file for the transformation matrix. And we need that transformation matrix to position all these subcomponents. Because what we're doing in this view is we're actually generating our own XML file on the fly, which we call our master XML. So here we create all the product occurrence tags. We grab the transformation matrices. We grab data for bounding boxes, SCS files, and any other attributes that we want in the XML file, which we can apply some additional logic to. So here, we're actually reconstructing this on the fly from our own XML file. And what I want to highlight here, so if we look at this component in the jaw, we see this is the latest released. But if I switch this parameter in our query definition to latest, through our own query processor API, we're able to generate this master XML. And we see that this component is actually now a preliminary version, a Rev B of the component. So this component, this assembly, these are working versions, so to speak. They're not released. And then the parent assembly above that and above that is released. So this assembly doesn't exist anywhere. This is actually reconstructed on the fly. So instead of having to go and save new versions of all the parents above this to create this view, I'm able to grab this nice, this kind of working view to get a look at what's on the horizon. So this is useful in a development environment because a lot of times we need to know what's working, what's changing before it's necessarily released. I have one more example here. So using our query processor API to generate this master XML, we can accommodate a variety of data models, so long as we know where to find the SCS file, the transformation matrix, and any other attributes we want. So here we have a query that's defined on part instead of CAD. So you might notice this is a different icon. And in this definition, we've grabbed some data, some properties from our system for cost and make buy. And grabbing these attributes, we're able to apply some custom logic. And in our rendering, we have various rendering views which we can go to. And we have one on cost, for instance. So this, using the property values for cost, we see some custom rendering that we've applied from data that we've populated into that XML file for this shattered view. So we have cost and make buy. So that's another nice feature. So our implementation, I'm trying to keep this short so I don't go over, but our implementation is a little bit unique since we do generate that XML file ourselves, and we actually download these SCS files and cache them to cache the byte arrays. So subsequent loads are quicker. So this file caching was a big performance improvement for us. And we don't utilize the Hoop server or streaming SCZ files right now in our product, but we actually download those SCS files to the client.